Hi YouTube! Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Madison, and if not, welcome back. Nailed it. Got it on the first try. We have a trip announcement. Woo! We are going to Disney World next week, a week from tomorrow, and we literally just planned it. So if you follow me on my Instagram, which I'll just pop down here, you know about this already, but we haven't given any of the details yet. So let's do it. Where are we staying? So we're staying at Pop Century. We chose Pop Century because it has a Skyliner. There was a cheaper option, which was All-Star Movie. There's also a little bit of a more expensive option, which was Caribbean Beach. Caribbean Beach? I say Caribbean. Potato. Put what you say in the comments. But we chose Pop Century because, like I said, the Skyliner, plus it's right next to Art Animation, so we could do a walk around there, and overall we just thought it would be, Madison hasn't stayed there, so we thought it would be a good experience for this quick trip. This is the last value resort that I haven't stayed at, so this is a good way to tick that off. So we are going from April 26th, which is next Monday, to April 28th, so it's super short. We're only there for 2 nights. Monday to Wednesday? Yeah, Monday to Wednesday, which should be good because then there won't be as many tourists, and it's like well past spring break at this point. Plus, I've been checking the wait times, like not every day, but every other day, waiting up a week, 2 weeks in advance, I'd say. Yeah. And, you know, the weekends are busier, but so far we're looking like we'll be okay for the parks we're doing, so fingers crossed. So we get there, our flight is at 7 a.m. on the 26th. We're trying to maximize our time even though we're only there for 2 nights. So our flight's at 7 a.m. and we'll land at MCO at 9:40, and then 9:40 really means 9:20. Yeah. 9:15 because it's only really a 2-hour flight. And we don't have bags, which we'll come back to in a minute, but we will get the Magical Express and then we'll be at the resort by like 11 at the latest, and then on the way out we're leaving at 9 p.m. from MCO, so we'll have the whole day on the Wednesday, and then we'll have to get Magical Express usually 3 hours before your flight, so 6 o'clock, 5:45, yeah. So it gives us a lot of the day to go to parks. I planned the flights, I tried to plan them so we could get, you know, a full 3 days, because if we're only there for 2 nights, we gotta make the most of our 3 days. So I want to be landing at 9 a.m. sharp in Orlando to get my full day doing what we're doing. We're gonna be tired. But hey, I did this same thing, but it was one less day when I went by myself last month. Stayed at the same resort, doing the same one of the parks, and I walked like 20 miles within the span of like 30 hours, plus more at the end of it, and it was worth it. Worth every penny. Worth every mile, every step. It is, yeah, it will be. So, we only planned this trip last week, like a week ago Tuesday. So we planned it with like less than 3 weeks between. Well, you gotta rewind. She has to rewind. Okay, so I'm in the US. This is pertinent information because a week ago I was in Scotland, but I'm home now. I had to come home very last minute, and what day was it? I got home last Saturday, so Saturday, April 10th. So Saturday, April 10th, she sent me a text message the day she was coming home. And this was a dangerous text message for her to send in the first place, but she shot me a text that said, "Oh, brought my magic band home just in case." So immediately within 10 minutes of me seeing that text, I was looking at flights from Newark or Philly or Trenton to MCO, because when I went last month, I did the same thing. I thought of it, and within 20 minutes I was looking at flights. The flights were cheap. I booked it right then and there, and it worked out perfectly well for me. And we're all Disney addicts here for the most part, so any of us will take the opportunity to take a quick trip to Disney. So I was texting her right off the bat that same day that she was flying home, dealing with a bunch of stuff. Okay, these are the flight times, these are the prices, blah blah. She was trying to push it off, but then it was actually like annoying. I know. I had to fly home last minute, obviously, and To travel from the UK to the US right now, there's a lot of things that you have to do to actually be able to leave the country. So I was like worried about doing all that, and then she's messaging me like, art of animation is this much. So she was definitely the spearhead of this trip.
So the day after that, I went back to the same thing. I was looking at flights again, and I noticed that the flight price had already went up a little bit. So I was like, Madison, it's now or never. It's Disney magic. What I did was hijacked her Madison Disney Instagram page, which I'll link below, I'm sure. And because I have it from my takeovers, and I posted even without her letting people know that she was back in the US, and said, hey everybody, convince Madison, help me convince Madison to do a Disney trip. And we got loads of reviews, loads of people convincing her.
Yeah, she outed me.
I really did, but it was totally worth it, and thank you to everybody who helped me convince her, because clearly it worked. So thank you. But so we booked the trip that day. I was like, listen Madison, you've been dealing with a lot this week, so I'll pay for your flight. I'll do a nice sisterly thing. It was Sister's Day the day we booked it. So the flight to MCO from New York was less than $100, which if it's less than $100, you can't beat that.
Okay, so we used Michon with Pixie Travel, so I will just link that there. Mackenzie, she's used her before. So Michon is one of my dear friends on Instagram, so shout out if you're watching.
I love you.
But we both know a lot about Disney and could easily book a trip ourselves, but the thing with the independent travel agents is that it doesn't cost any extra to book through them, and they get commission if you do. So there's no reason that we shouldn't use a travel agent to book, even though we know what we're doing ourselves. Sometimes they can get us better deals, but even if it's the same price, I would rather some of my money go to small business than straight to Disney.
Plus, even just a little side note, Michonne noted after me booking this trip with her that this round, because I also booked with her for my solo trip last month, this round we actually helped her achieve a big personal goal that she has within the company she's working for, so that's a good achievement for her. We're helping a friend, plus we're helping her with her job, so it really worked out very well. Shout out to you.
Okay, so yes, we booked with her. Kenz did everything, and she was able to get our hotel set, and she was able to get our park tickets, and she was able to book us on the Magical Express, which was super helpful, and a good time to take Magical Express since it is going away at the end of 2021. So we have 2 trips left basically within this year that we'll get to do that. But when we booked with Michon and when we originally planned our trip, we were going to go to one park in the middle of the trip. So we were going to fly down, have that day, have the day we fly back, and then the middle day, the full day, we were going to go to the park, and we were just going to get a 1 park ticket. Booking as late as we did, there wasn't a lot of availability for parks. So Hollywood Studios was sold out, and Magic Kingdom
was sold out for one of the 2 days for the options, but then when we checked back after we actually bought our tickets, Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios are both full for both days now.
So we opted on going to DAC for the day because Mackenzie has just been to Epcot, and I know I'm an Epcot girl, but
you got a DAC girl right here too. So you got an Epcot girl and a DAC girl, so you gotta meet in the middle.
Took one for the team and said we'd go to DAC. But there's more. My amazing friend Jamie, who was sad, a cast member, has cast member complimentary tickets, and she's currently living in Australia and isn't gonna make it to the parks. So after we booked our trip with our stay and with our 1-day park ticket, she actually sent us 2 free complimentary tickets, and they are park hoppers. So we're gonna go to 2 days of parks now, and hopefully all of the parks, which we'll explain in a second. But we have reservations on day 2, so our full day. We have reservations at DAC in the morning, and that'll be our park hopper day. And then on the 3rd day, we have reservations at Epcot so that we can go to Flower and Garden.
Yep, so that was an awesome surprise to wake up to. Thank you, Jamie. Really couldn't thank you enough.
Yeah,
magic gifts.
Yeah, and Disney's not selling annual passes at the moment, and we have been. We went in January. You went in March. We're going now. And I went in October.
I went in October also.
And you went in October.
So this will
working out.
Yeah, I'll have at this point, even last trip, my solo trip, I am well above the annual pass threshold for cash. So I really paid up. So that kind of stinks because of COVID, but it's Disney, so it's still worth it.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
You would have had 10 days in 1 year.
Yeah.
10 days.
Yep. And I would have, if I had an annual pass, I would have gone down even more than I am and have been. So that's maybe a blessing in disguise because I need to get stuff done also.
Yeah, that's the biggest bummer, is that we haven't been able to get an annual pass, especially because we qualify obviously for the DVC gold pass rates, but Jamie is a lifesaver. We were only going to do one park one day, but she sent us those tickets, so we're hopefully going to go to all the parks. The goal, I think, is during the second day we'll go to DAC and then hopefully first hop to Studios at 2 when park hopping opens, and then finish at Magic Kingdom
if possible. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how the day goes, right? We're here to adventure and do new things and eat, especially eat. I mean, obviously if you guys followed along for my solo trip in March, you know that literally the only thing I did was find good food to eat. And the nice thing about Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot, which is kind of why I agreed to go for my sister again, because she's an Epcot girl, and as me and shout out to you RJ know that we don't love Epcot on this side, but no hate here, love all of them, but Epcot's probably not my favorite. But I just did Flower Garden, blah blah blah, but I was like, you know what, you can never do the festivals too many times. There's so much that I didn't get to explore. There's even going through the food options with her, still food options that I didn't get to try when I was there, whether I couldn't find it or I was too full or I didn't have time. I really exhausted Epcot when I was there in March for Flower Garden. I was in line at a food booth until park closing. So I think our plan is to do the same thing because it's before the airport. We have plenty of time though, so I think, you know, we've done the rides plenty of times, so we'll definitely focus on the food. So I took one for the team, and I'll have to suffer through eating delicious food at Flower Garden at Epcot for my sister.
It's gonna be so worth it.
So worth it.
Okay, so yeah, we are going to 2 days of parks, which we've talked about now. Oh, I shouldn't do this. That's bad in British culture. We're going to 2 days of parks, but the day we get there, we're gonna get to the resort at about 11. Whoa. So we have the whole day. So I think a big part of the plan is to go to Disney Springs. We have lunch booked currently at CityWorks at 2.
I think 142.
Yeah. We'd originally booked it for dinner, but we switched and we moved it to lunch so that we can spend the afternoon in Disney Springs.
Madison definitely booked the CityWorks, but I will say that I check dining reservations every day because I'm a little crazy. And I want Topolino's, even though she doesn't love it, but I want it. Well, she loves it, but she knows that she...
Whoa.
Okay, pause.
I love Topolino's.
I'm sorry,
but we didn't think we'd get it.
Yeah, so I saw that there was a Whispering Canyon Cafe reservation, so I booked that. Funny enough, I thought it was the outdoor restaurant Geyser Point at Wilderness Lodge, where you could sit and watch a little light boat parade go around Bay Lake, but it was the inside. What we said, all you can eat one. It usually has characters, but because of COVID, no characters.
That's also a lie.
Nope. Sunglasses back on.
Okay, so yeah, Whispering Canyon Cafe is inside of Wilderness Lodge. It's not, there's no characters, but it's the restaurant where if you ask for ketchup, traditionally they bring you all the ketchup in the restaurant.
Yes. Yeah. But they don't do that anymore.
I've heard not during COVID. Yeah, we've really derailed here. So we're gonna go to Disney Springs during the day, as we've said, go to lunch at CityWorks, which neither of us have tried, and I've been wanting to try it. It's just like pub grub. Pub grub, but
I'm British.
It should be good. It looks good. And then we'll head over to Wilderness Lodge in the evening and do dinner at Whispering Canyon Cafe, and then go out and watch the electric water pageant. But this brings me to a point I wanted to talk about, which is the fact that we booked our trip 3 weeks before going, and because of that, dining has been really difficult. Limited, and park reservations, which we talked about. But yeah, the dining has been really limited, so we've been checking every day, which means what we have booked might not actually be where we end up, if something pans out. But
Homecoming.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. But yeah, so we've been checking dining every single day to try and get something. Sometimes when I look at breakfast, nothing shows up. Dinner, nothing shows up. I find that if you actually look at specific times, then sometimes you do get options that show up. But it's been a lot of the bigger restaurants and a lot of the less popular restaurants,
yeah,
which is fine.
I haven't even, I mean, I've been checking every day for like at least a week now, and I haven't seen, you know, every once in a while you see one of the good restaurants pop up, like you'll see a quick, like, Topolino's reservation, or a quick, what's even a popular one?
Homecoming.
Or a quick Homecoming reservation, Chef Mickey, something like that. But I really haven't seen anything besides the obvious. There's always, like, the Grand Floridian Cafe.
Yep. Wine Bar George.
The steak place, Wine Bar George, Kona Cafe, those sort of things. So sort of the more low-key restaurants. There's still a few hidden gems, if you really search, but that's why it's worth it to check every day, because you never know if someone's gonna cancel a reservation right then and there when you're checking, and you'll be able to snag it.
I'd really like to try STK. My friends Cameron and Daniela at our Pride Rock, right there, they love it. They go whenever they go to Disney on like a date night, and I've heard it's good, but I think it's expensive, so.
Well, maybe leave some of your recommendations down below if you've tried some restaurants at Disney Springs, because we love to try new things, but we're also suckers for being a creature of habit. Because like Homecoming, for instance, like we all tried Homecoming once or twice, and now it's like every time it's like, okay, well maybe we could walk up and see if they could fit us in, like even though we have reservations for a new place, because you can't get fried chicken like that anywhere else.
No, you can't. Not where I come from.
Not in America either,
by that frankly. I mean Scotland. So yeah, it's been difficult, but we don't care. We just want to be there, honestly.
Plus, we've done most of the big nicer restaurants we've done, like Chef Mickey's, especially right now with COVID. It's all different. There's obviously a lot of restaurants we still haven't tried, but I can't get over Topolino's. If you ever are in Disney World and you are making a Topolino's reservation, get the potatoes. Best potatoes ever.
I still think about them.
I think about them. I dream about them every night. So for our flights, we booked Frontier. I picked Frontier because it was just the cheapest, best time flights. So with Frontier and Spirit and those airlines, you only get a personal item unless you want to pay for a carry-on or checked bag, which to pay for that both ways,
$40.
It's the same price as the flight, basically. It's $80 total, so it's basically, it's $5 cheaper than what the flight was.
Yeah, so we are packing for 3 days into 2 backpacks. And that's it, because it's so expensive. We're not gonna pay for more. So next week I'm gonna actually post a pack with me video, so I'll show you how we pack for 3 days in 2 backpacks. I've done it before. I've been to Disneyland Paris before, and it's the same amount of time, 3 days, 2 backpacks. So we're gonna give it a go. Luckily it's April, so it's hot in Orlando, and we'll need just really tiny clothes. But yeah, that should be interesting. So another thing with this trip coming up is we're gonna have new ears. Hopefully they get here by next week, but Mackenzie's friend Sawyer, who,
shout out Sawyer,
right there,
my supposed to be DCP roommate. Very, very sad and heartbreaking.
Yeah, Kenz was supposed to do the DCP last year, but it got canceled because of COVID. If you don't follow us on Instagram, follow me. That's my Instagram.
Well, I do plenty of takeovers.
Yeah, I think you guys like her better, honestly.
Let us know.
Let us know who's your favorite.
Who's the better sister?
Don't do that. Don't tell us.
Feel free though. The nice thing about having such an early flight, and I learned this last time when I went by myself, which I'm sure we've done plenty of times in the past, is not many people know, whether they just don't know to do it or they don't know that you can do it, that you can walk up and ask if they have any rooms available if you're not picky about the room, even if it's 9 a.m. So I arrived at the hotel at 9:30 a.m. last time, and they had a room that I was able to check into right then and there. So our plan this time is to also, even though we'll be there at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., try to just check into a room in the morning, because if you go up and you wait in line instead of waiting for the online check-in and you just ask the front desk, they're usually more than willing to help accommodate if they have rooms available. So hopefully we'll have a room nice and early for our trip.
Yeah, and then we can just get started with our day. I do want to walk around like Pop and explore
Art of Animation.
Yeah, and we'll probably take the Skyliner over to Riviera at some point as well and get some food, because we really want to try, what's it called, Primo Patio or something?
I follow and probably stalk Disney with Valen. Shout out to you, Valen. She always posts a sandwich from Primo Piatto, I think, from the quick service in Riviera, and I thought it was a grilled cheese and tomato soup for the longest time. She told me it was
a croque monsieur.
I can't say that, but it's basically like sort of a grilled cheese. It's like French ham and Swiss cheese, and it comes with a side. So that with tomato soup is my goal because that sounds delicious.
Yeah, if you haven't gathered, the main goal of this trip is to eat. So everything we do will likely be driven by our stomachs. There's new things we want to try. There's classics that we like to go back to. So you know I'm gonna get a pretzel. Okay, our audience has asked what we're most excited for food-wise. So in terms of stuff I've tried before, obviously it's gonna be the colossal pretzel from Animal Kingdom from Pongu Pongu. And I think in terms of new food, I really want to try Mr. Kamal's in Animal Kingdom. Yeah. They have the fried dumplings that RJ talks about all the time. Yeah. I'll link him down below, but he posts them all the time and they have really good looking chips. And so we're gonna nip over there and try that. That's what I think I'm most excited for in terms of new food. What about you?
I think in terms of food I've already had, I'm most excited for Gaston's cinnamon roll. I tried that for the first time in January when we went, and it was delicious.
That was your first time?
Yeah. Yep. It was massive. It was warm. It was so good.
It's so good.
And in terms of something new I want to try, I was telling Madison, I forget the name, where she gets the big pretzel that she loves in Animal Kingdom.
Pongu Pongu.
On the inside of the restaurant, yeah, there's
oh, Satuli Canteen.
What is it called? It's like a chicken and
rice bowl.
And rice and noodle bowl, and it looks pretty good. I've seen it on a lot of people, a lot of Disney people's Instagrams. So I'd have to say that, plus a few of the things at Flower and Garden I didn't get to try, like the grilled corn on the cob. I think that's probably the Flower and Garden thing I'm most excited for because I missed that last time.
Yeah, she brought me back a food passport last time, so we've been going through that and ticking off the things we want to try.
What are you most excited for the Flower and Garden food?
Honestly, the Joffrey's alcoholic coffees.
Weird.
They're so good. During Food and Wine, I love them. When I worked there, I would get the Kahlua Teeny all the time, and it was like coffee, Grey Goose, Kahlua, and Amaretto, I think.
A lot of alcohol.
I know. We gotta fly that day too. Yeah, they're so good. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to a violet lemonade because I haven't had one in
I forgot about that.
5 years.
This was the first time I had one when I went last month. They're so good.
They're so good.
And they're $4.50. Like, you can't beat that. The cup is small, but it's slushy, so I drank the whole thing. I mean, I chugged it because I was excited and it was my first drink, but I drank the whole thing and I was full after it. So, violet lemonade, here we come.
Okay, what is the #1 like ride that you want to get on while we're there?
Can I pick one from each park?
Yeah.
Okay, so Epcot, I would have to say Soarin', just because Soarin' is a classic. Test Track is eh. Animal Kingdom, I would say Flight of Passage, but I'm also not willing to wait in the long line for that super long line because I've done it a few times. So Everest is a classic, can't get it wrong.
Okay.
Hollywood Studios, honestly, I'm not a big Star Wars fan, so Hollywood Studios I would probably say Rock and Roller Coaster. And then lastly, Magic Kingdom, that is a tough one. It all depends on the wait time, because like if Seven Dwarfs is dead, I'd do that just because we haven't done it in a long time. If wait times are long, I'd do probably Haunted Mansion because that's usually quick, and also, you know, Splash in Space. So Splash is gonna be, I would choose People Mover, but yeah, it keeps getting pushed back, so that's not an option. So what about you? 4 parks, 4 rides.
I agree with Epcot. It's got to be Soarin'. It's the best ride in the park. And then again, Magic Kingdom, I would choose People Mover if it was open, but if it's not, I don't know. I really like Pirates.
Pirates was on my option. Like Pirates, Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, I all kind of.
We didn't do that last time.
She wants to do the carousel so bad.
I like the carousel. And then, yeah, and then at DAC, again, I would love to do a Flight of Passage, but we're not going to wait a huge amount of time for it, so I think the safaris would be my choice.
I forgot about safari.
And then at studios, I really, really want to get on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad.
I totally wasn't even thinking. I should have had her answer these questions first. Because I would have picked Mickey's and Minnie.
I'd pick that over Rockin' this time just because.
We've done Rockin'. I would agree. I forgot about the new ride in Hollywood Studios, so I would switch to that. And what was the other one that and for DAC, the Safari is a classic. I've done Everest a million times, so I would have to choose the Safari because I love seeing the animals, yeah. Especially if you go in the evening or the morning when they're active or being fed or whatever. Key.
And because we're doing park hopping, and park hopping doesn't start until 2, if you park hop to Hollywood Studios, you cannot get on Rise of the Resistance, so that is out for us. I love that ride.
We've both done it though, so it's not a big deal. We've both done it. Neither of us love Star Wars.
But the ride is so good.
The ride is amazing, but we'll survive.
Yeah.
Definitely want to get on the new ride so we can say that we've still done everything at Hollywood Studios. Because
Yeah.
right now we haven't done that ride, so we can't say we've done it all.
No, I haven't done.
Oh, I didn't do the
Smuggler's
saucers.
Run.
And I didn't do the saucers.
I haven't done that either.
The alien saucers.
We haven't done anything, as it turns out.
Well, that's what we're going to be doing on this trip, though. Checking some things off our bucket list.
Yeah, so if you can't tell, our plans are chaotic and basically non-existent, other than spending 30 minutes giving you a rough sketch of what we're going to be doing, but it's like a very much go with the flow type of trip. So with that,
We got our socks on, though.
yeah,
I got Stitch. Mine say Treble.
this is really testing my core.
I'm really sore, so I can't stretch out.
With that, we will sign off. I'm going to be posting a Pack With Me video next week, and then when we get back from our trip, we'll have loads of new content. So if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to my channel. You can turn on post notifications if you want, because we'll have a video a week coming up basically for the next month and a half or so. So stay tuned for that, and until then, we will see you real soon.
See you real soon!